If you need a 7-seater, the Peugeot 5008 is a great choice, but I prefer our excellent 3008. It's spacious enough for my needs, and has proven really useful in tricky conditions as well. Mileage, 13,021. Economy, 44.9 mpg. Spot the difference. One of these cars is the Peugeot 3008 we're running on our fleet, and the other is its 7-seat brother, the 5008. I had a chance to compare them side by side, and the only real bonus the bigger model gives you is the addition of a third row of seats. It's not as good to drive, nor as good looking as my 3008, so I'd definitely stick with the smaller car if I was choosing between the two of them. Our 3008 is comfortable, with just enough stiffness in the suspension to keep the car feeling composed but without crashing into potholes. The 5008 is a bit more softly sprung, though, and doesn't have as good a balance of ride and handling as the smaller Peugeot. I don't need the extra seats in the back, and the 3008's 591-liter boot is much more useful for me. It's big enough to carry my photography gear, but also family pets and a whole tree that recently needed to be taken to the dump. The shape of the rear opening helps with access as well. There's a fairly wide aperture, which helped me to get the individual pieces of wood in and out of the back of the car. Plus, I'm happy with the proportions of the 3008. Maneuvering is easy thanks to the reversing camera and parking sensors, and when you drive in town the elevated driving position helps with visibility. The Peugeot is also proving itself as a car for all seasons. A recent spell of snowy and icy weather has seen us using our car's advanced grip control technology for the first time. A rotary dial on the center console adjusts the driving modes, and while there are settings for taking the car off-road, it was the snow mode that came in handy here. It controls the engine and brakes when necessary to help improve grip in the slippery conditions. It worked really well, and our front-wheel drive 3008 handled the snow impressively well. Peugeot 3008, first report. With its wide range of talents. Mileage, 6,283. Economy, 44.6 mpg. Peugeot's all-new 3008 has already impressed us, to the extent that we named it Best Midsize SUV at our New Car Awards 2017. The brand's virtual reality-based adverts hint at one of the reasons why we already love the 3008, and that's the tech on board, although sadly you can't quite drive it using a VR headset just yet. The two cars I've most recently run on the Auto Express fleet were the 3008's key rivals, the Renault Kadjar and Seat Ateca. That puts me in a great position to see whether the slick new Peugeot can cope with real life. Unlike the awkwardly styled previous model, the 3008 now looks like a proper SUV, with a chunky design and sharp details. We've gone for GT line trim, which adds chrome details, LED headlights, and interior goodies such as special upholstery and some clever in-car tech. Peugeot is pushing the iCockpit display that replaces traditional dials with its VR ads, and I can see why. It's very slick as you scroll through functions, and having the Sat-Nav displayed right in front of you is really useful. The central touchscreen is also a vast improvement over the old car's infotainment system, and features Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, although it could be a bit more responsive overall. I've never really been satisfied with the driving position in modern Peugeots, because I've found the steering wheel can obscure the dials, but the second-generation setup in the 3008 is much better. The small wheel makes the car feel agile, but it doesn't affect the view of any screens. While the driving position still feels a bit high, you can forgive that in an SUV. The rest of the interior also has a modern feel, with lots of nice touches, such as the brushed metal switches for all the main functions and a small volume knob. It's neat and clean, and operating different features on the move is pretty easy. If there's one downside, it's that there are no physical controls for the air conditioning system, which can make changing the temperature fiddly on the move.